Hi, I'm Carla D. Tillery, and welcome to the Chair Chronicles. I'm your life coach and your favorite auntie. You know, that aunt that is so not afraid to tell you the truth and help you see things just a little clearer, and you love her advice. Well, as a certified life coach with over 2 decades of experience, I'm very passionate about helping you find your happiness. So pull up a chair and let's have a talk. Welcome to the Chair Chronicles. This is Real Talk with your favorite auntie and your life coach. Thank you so much for joining me today on this podcast. So today we're going to talk about whether you should make resolutions or not. We have just crossed over from 2020 into a brand new year of 2021. I know so many people, if you were like me, were just excited to be done with 2020. 2020 was just such an unusual, unprecedented, unpredictable type of year. There were so many things that happened. There were so many challenges. There were a lot of losses for so many people across the world that it really, really was a challenging year. And if you were like me, you were like, could not wait for 2021. But most of the time in the beginning of the year, most people decide to make resolutions. Did you make a resolution? Did you think about it? Do you know people who made resolutions? Well, that's what I want to talk about today. So, all right, resolutions. Should you make them? Should you not? Well, it really is up to you. And I know for some folks, it's like, I thought 2020 was going to be my year, and I set out what I wanted to do. I made my New Year's resolutions, and it was an epic fail. So I think that's one of the reasons why, is because people have seen year after year of making resolutions that a lot of times they're not able to succeed in those areas that they really desired to. So whether you believe in resolutions or not, I do want you to think about resetting for 2021. So what does that mean? Resetting for 2021. I want to use the word reset as an acronym, and I'm going to go through what each letter will represent. Okay, so let's start with the first letter, R. I want you to remember every single lesson that you learned in 2020. If you're like me, I'm sure you have perhaps a few of those lessons learned, right? And I think it's always appropriate to do some flashbacks, to just kind of look back to kind of see, what did I learn about myself? What did I learn about what I want, what I desire, what I want to achieve? You can ask yourself those questions and start to figure out, as you're looking back, what are those things that I want to remember, so that you can take those into the new year and make sure that whatever you learn, that you're holding on to that principle, that you're holding on to that value, and perhaps it's something that you don't want to do. Perhaps it's a new way of looking at things that you want to grab hold and carry that into the new year. So remember your lessons learned. I learned a lot. I learned that I have a new love interest for biking. I learned how to really use my time. I mean, at first when the pandemic came, it was like staying productive. I was shifting in a lot of different modes into a virtual environment in all my businesses. And after that, then it was like this kind of lull that I hit. And it was like, I was, on my off time, I was doing a lot of binge watching on TV. Nothing wrong with that. But I did want to make sure that I was being productive. And that's one of my value sets, is being productive. And so I wanted to make sure I was using my time effectively. And so after that lull, I kind of recognized that I was in this space that I really didn't want to be in. So then I started to kind of set myself some projects and things like that so that I could really be productive and enhance my life in some way. And so I learned how to use my time. I also learned that I can do with a lot less, from clothes to food and all those other types of things like that. that was one of the lessons that I learned. Sometimes we just feel like we need so much stuff, and we really don't. And I was able to save a lot of money because I realized that the things I had been buying, I really didn't even need. So that was my lesson. Maybe you learned the same lesson, or maybe you have a different one. But I do want you to remember those lessons learned from 2020. Okay? All right. What's the letter E? I know you're dying to know, right? Here we go. E stands for energize your mind, body, and spirit. I think it is so critical that you know what things inspire you, motivate you, cause you to get up out of the bed in the morning. You need to know those things that energize you. Everybody is different, and what may energize me may not energize you. I love music, so I'm surrounded by music all the time. That's one of the things that I can go to if I feel myself getting into a slump, right? I put my music on. I might light my candles. There might be a day that I say, let me do some self-care. That's something else that motivates me, that reshapes and reframes my mindset so that I can start to do those things and be productive and all those other things that I want to do, right? So you've got to find out what energizes your mind, body, and spirit. I know for some it could be food, but I will say this, listen, because I love good food. Listen, ain't nothing wrong with a nice piece of steak and some potatoes. But you got to be careful though, right? You've got to make sure that you are energizing yourself with healthy things. So a healthy habit or healthy items. We don't want to, if food energizes you, make sure it's healthy. We don't want to do the fatty foods. We don't want to do the foods that has all the sugars in it. So you do want to be mindful that whatever it is that energizes you, that inspires you, that motivates you, that it is a healthy choice. All right? You are in charge of your life. And I do want to make sure that you have all the tools necessary to make sure that you are making the right decisions, the healthy choices for your life. But be sure you find something that energizes you. Depression can hit anybody at any time if you're not careful. And even when you're being careful, there's just life that happens, right? That's just real talk. Life comes and sometimes it catches you off guard, and it could put you in a place that is really low, that's really dark. You push everybody away. You don't want to be close. You don't want to reach out. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to deal with it. And so you can retreat within yourself. And sometimes that's not a good place to stay in, particularly for long periods of time. So you need to find those go-to things that energize your mind, that stimulate your mind, that stimulate your body, that stimulate your spirit. Whatever it is, make sure that it's a healthy one. Okay, so R was remembering your lessons learned in 2020. E, it's energize your mind, soul, and spirit. And let's go to S. So what do you think S is? Okay, so I open up talking about resolutions. So whether it's a resolution or an idea that you have or something you want to get accomplished, listen, I, as a life coach, believe in setting goals. So S stands for set and track your goals. You don't have to call them resolutions. You don't have to call them plans. You don't have to call them ideas. You don't even have to call them goals if you don't want to. But I do want you to have it in your mind what it is that you want to get accomplished in the new year. All right. So set and track your goals. All right. I believe that is so important that we really get some intentional thought about what it is you want to get done. The beginning of the year is a good time for me to kind of sit back and look at my finances. I actually sat down and looked at like my auto insurance, my home insurance, did a little bit of research, found some new carriers, same identical coverage, but I'm saving some money. What? You talking about somebody excited? I'm excited about that. So again, like thinking about those things that I want to get accomplished, there's certain things that I want to do that's going to require some money. So I've got to be diligent about trying to find how to create that budget, how to create that extra stream of income so that I can do some of the things that I want to do. So, for me in the beginning of the year is a good time to think about those things and, readjusting some of those financial line items, thinking about where I want to vacation at, thinking about what home improvement project. So it could range from personal to business to professional. Set your goals, but be sure that you track them. Don't just set them and then just kind of leave them there. You want to make sure that you're revisiting them. You're taking a look. You're listing out those action items. What do I need to do to kind of get that goal accomplished? You also want to think about timelines, because I think that structure will give you what it takes to make sure that you track and monitor it and don't forget about it. Because at the end of the day, you want to get it done, right? So S, set and track your goals. Okay, so we have another E in reset, R.E.S.E. All right, so the second E stands for, you ready? Eliminate distractions. Oh, man, this is really something, because distractions come all the time. I mean, that's just straight up real, right? There's never been, I think, a project that just went smooth from beginning to end, that there wasn't some hurdle, that there wasn't a setback, there wasn't something that kind of shifted things and you had to regroup. And so you've got to be careful about the distractions. Sometimes it's distractions with your time. Sometimes it's distraction with your money. Sometimes it's distraction with the people in your life, the people that you care about the most. So things will happen, but there is a way to maneuver around that. And first of all, it's just being aware, like raising your awareness can go such a long way. So when it comes to eliminating distractions, you've got to identify, like, is this something I need to give some attention to, or is this something that I need to kind of remove or to get out of the way? So you have to really kind of quickly assess, is this something that needs my attention, or is this something that's just really being a distraction to what it is I want to get accomplished? So make sure you do that. Eliminate distractions. All right. Okay, so now we did R.E.S.E. The last one is T. Okay, you ready? T stands for trust the process. Okay, this is not an easy thing all the time to kind of set forth what you want to do and resetting your perspectives in your life and your focus and your attention. You've got to trust the process. And what I mean by that is there will probably be some things that may trigger a setback, or it may affect your time schedule, or it may affect how much energy and life and that you can bring to it on that particular day. You might have a moment, and it will be okay. Trust the process. You got to start to trust yourself and know that things will happen, that we are human beings, that sometimes we do get off track. But what I love about it is that we also have the ability to get right back on track, to reset and to refocus. And so you can start that process all over again. It's never too late. Don't fear that you can't get it done if you hit a setback. Just refocus and re-strategize what it is that you need to do. Get back up and start all over again. It will be okay. So I want you to reset for 2021. It's important, I believe, that in order to have a very successful life, you've got to have and maintain a level of hope. With everything that has happened in the world, from the politics and the craziness in that environment and just this polarized nation, we have got to maintain our hope. We've got to maintain that and know that we can choose to live our best life in spite of. We can adapt to things. We can be nimble. We can readjust. We can reimagine, right? Reimagine what your life can be like and then set out to get that very thing accomplished. I believe in you, and I hope you believe in yourself. That's most important. So I want you to think about resetting for 2021. Remember those lessons learned in 2020. Find things that energize your mind, soul, and spirit. Mind, body, and spirit, right? And I also want you to set your goals and track them. Write it down. Okay, so if you don't write it down, then you could, I know there's a lot of, electronics out there. Have, something on your iPad or have a place to go to in your notes where you can jot these things down. Or maybe you journal. Do that and write them down. So set your goals, write it out, and then track them. Okay? And then I want you to make sure that you eliminate any distractions that come, because life will bring some things that can turn your attention. So I want you to be careful for those things and trust yourself and trust the process. Because honey, it is a process, but you can do it. I want you to live your best life. I want you to maintain your hope. I want you to be intentional about 2021. I want you to stay consistent in your efforts this year. I want you to have the opportunity at the end of the year to be able to say, I did that. Yes, that's what we're working towards, to be able to say, I did that I accomplished that. And it's going to be so great to have that to be able to say. All right? So listen, I'm so glad that you stayed tuned with me. I want you to like this podcast. I want you to share it. Listen, share this with your friends, share this with your family, because I want everyone to reset in 2021. Listen, this is our opportunity. Seize this year. Let's set our direction. Let's not just let things happen, but let's be able to set our own direction and to set our path. All right? So listen, thanks for staying tuned, staying connected on the Chair Chronicles. I'm Carla D. Tillery. I'm your favorite auntie and your life coach. We'll see you next time.